All right, what is up, guys? This is DDP of the Dallas Prospect. Law should be joining us here in a bit. From what I understand, he's actually on, he's out of town. I don't think it's vacation, but I spoke with him earlier. He told me to go ahead and start the stream. I sent him the link. He should be jumping on, but he told me just to go ahead and get this thing going. So, also should have Big Game James here joining us here in a bit. There's Law right there. I'll be there soon, he says. That's what's up, Law. So, since it's just me right now, let's just dive into it. I should have Big Game James as well here in a bit. But we'll take a look at some of the obvious storylines going on in training camp. First and foremost, as the thumbnail indicates, the Cowboys have had a serious case of the injury bug kind of come nipping around the team. Up until now in training camp, the team had been extremely healthy with no real scares or concerns or anything like that. So this is a little bit of a concern for me, but I'm not freaking out about this. To me, this is something where nothing yet has been a significant injury. Like we don't know what's going on with Travis Frederick. It sounds like he's just having routine stingers. And it sounds like he got checked out by they said a spine doctor, but that seems like a weird thing to go to if it's really your shoulder that's the problem. And I kind of wonder how much of that might be related to the just straight shot he took from Antoine Woods. I think that was a few days ago. I think that was just a few days ago when they had that back and forth in the drill and just straight shot. Looked like whiplash, honestly, Travis Frederick's head going back, but... shout out here. Let me run through some of the people in the chat. Actually, I realized I was skipping over that. Over here in the Dallas Prospect YouTube channel, we got Italian Cowboy. Yo, DDP, it's all good. Travis had every test and is fine. Just needs some rest. Tavon, fine. Mild hammy. Yeah, so it sounds like it's not critical injuries that the Cowboys have suffered yet. But nevertheless, it's little injuries jumping up. I think Tavon Austin... I think his is extremely precautionary. And to me, I look at the Travis Frederick. Now, Travis Frederick, I would argue if he did miss time, his injury and his absence would probably be the most significant that you can imagine of the offense. Now, obviously, Dak and Zeke are going to be the main things. If you lose either of them, I know Dak has people that are kind of detractors, but... If you're having to run Cooper Rush out there for any significant part of the season's already gone. Like, it just is. So I think you look at that and you have to say Dak and Zeke would be the two biggest guys that would devastate your team. Not just the offense, but your team. Maybe not the biggest. You could argue that would be Sean Lee based on history, but with the drafting of Leighton, Vander, Esch, now they've got someone that can kind of back that up and add some depth to that position. It's probably Travis Frederick, honestly, because he hasn't missed a game in his career, and if this is just something that really does just need rest, then no worries. Fine. He's missed 2 or 3 practices already. I'm not worried if he just needs a little bit more time off, but where I do start to get worried, if it is more significant, is if this thing stretches out and suddenly he's missing any kind of time in the games. If he's missing game time, then we are in a world of hurt, I think, because now I do have full faith in Zach Martin, but Zach Martin's had to kind of plug the role and play a little bit of center in the past day in camp. And again, full faith in him, but that makes you weaker. Part of why we're so confident that Connor Williams can drop in and be a day one starter for this offensive line is because he was going to be sandwiched between Tyron and between Frederick. So now if Frederick's gone, yes, again, Martin is still a great, in fact, I would argue at his position, Martin's better than Frederick is at his in terms of where they rank for their position in the league. But that's neither here nor there. Both dudes are massively important to the Cowboys and their identity. And if you have to move Martin, then you're going to have to bring in someone else to fill that. And it hurts the line overall. It makes you weaker than you really need to be on what's supposed to be the single greatest strength of your offense. So, really of your team. So that's concerning there if it's the case. But again, it sounds like everything's okay in the case of Travis Frederick. He just needs rest. Fine. If he's good to start, then no worries. But it is still a noteworthy thing because we're talking about a guy who's never missed a game, and it shows that even with as healthy as Dallas has been, it only takes one significant injury to completely alter your perception of the season. So, sounds like they dodged a bullet there, and that's good news. Shout out on the page. I'm pulling up, by the way, the other pages as well for, I know we're live on Facebook and everything. I've got here in front of me on my phone the Law Nation 2.0 chat. So anyone who's in there, if you got questions, if you got comments, let me know. I'll see them. Weird showing myself to the camera, but I'll hit you guys up. Big Game James says he'll be here in like 10 minutes. So right now we rolling. Let's see. Shout out to Young Wilson. Law, what's up, bro? You're not posting as much. What's up? So, yeah, if you're following on Law Nation 2.0, then you should be good. You should still be getting all his content. He's still been doing work, man. Nobody works harder than Law. Like, I'm convinced of that. All of us are out here grinding, whether it's me, whether it's Big Game James, Silver and Blue as a whole, but Law, dude, that dude goes live all the time, always giving great updates and content. That dude's legit. Nothing but respect to Law and everything he does. But, yeah, so if his content amount is slightly lesser right now, I know he's out of town. Maybe that's having a slight impact. But from my perception, it looks like he's still hitting on all his normal content workload. So let's see. I'm checking in the chats here on Law Nation 2.0. Virginia's Finest, what's up? Let's see. This is the fun of when I have multiple sources and I'm managing this on my own until Law, potentially Law, and Big Game James jump in. So I did see that Nick Foles sounds like he blew out his shoulder today. That's a huge question for them, simply because, for the Eagles, simply because Carson Wentz might not be ready week 1. So if Foles, the Super Bowl MVP, is not ready either, that could have a big impact on the start of their season, whether it's rushing Wentz back earlier than he's ready, or if it's having to plug in, who would their third string guy be? I don't even know. I mean, he's third string, he's going to have to be their starter, so that could be a big opportunity, not advantage, but an opportunity for Dallas right off the bat there. Salute, Virginia's Finest. Looks good on my end. Salute from Vegas. What's up? Hey, Emmanuel. What's up? Domino. What's up? Let's take a look here. All right. And, guys, for those watching on Facebook, I will be on the Phantom thread on Facebook if you guys want to message there. I will try to bounce back and forth through some of these chats as we go, but until I get my co-host here, I'm just going to... I got 3 chats in front of me, and that's about the most I can manage simultaneously here without bogging down the stream. Somebody ratted out Law, long story. Talk to him. He'll be back soon. Yeah, Law's content will be fine. Don't worry about it. He's still going to be doing his thing on Law Nation 2.0. You'll still find him on all the Facebook pages for our network as well, and he'll be back on his standard Law Nation page sometime mid-November. But everything's good in that regard. Dallas Lee. So we'll be looking at like the Eagles losing Foles. Yeah. Again, Eagles losing Foles, that could be significant for them, getting them off to a slow start, or having to kind of jeopardize Wentz, frankly, having to rush him back earlier than he's probably ready. And if that's the case, man, that's a really dangerous spot for them to be in. Because if there's one dude you don't want to jeopardize, it's a guy that is an MVP caliber athlete. He probably was going to be the MVP last year prior to his injury. Let me see here. Looks at this. Nice little turnout here on the Phantom page. Uh-oh. I got an echo effect. Hold on, let me turn that off. Mute. I think we got it. Cool. Let's see here. Esteban Garza from Dallas. All right. Ooh, rock and replenish from Maryland. That's what's up. Hackenberg is the third string, says Dallas Lee. Dallas, thank you for that. Nice name, by the way. I dig it. I particularly, the Dallas prospect, dig that. Wow. So if Hackenberg is the guy they got to roll out with, that is not a good sign for them at all. That's not great. Shout out here to John Misak, G. Garcia as well in the Phantom chat. Any info on Martin has experience in center in college and high school? Yeah, so they've been running, with Frederick having to miss, they've been running Martin at center in practice. Yes, he does have experience there. I even think that he would be serviceable there, but it's still a step back for the line as a whole because it's not Martin getting to play to his strength, and it's obviously missing Frederick, another perennial Pro Bowler who, as I said earlier, has never missed a game. And part of why you feel so confident with Connor Williams being a day one starter is because you look at the idea of him being able to come in and play alongside Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick. So even though Zach Martin is still a great athlete in his own right, if you're having to remove him from that equation, it looks like I'm lagging here. I think I got too many windows open. But if that's the case, I'll shut off one of those comment things here and try and multitask on my phone, I guess. If that's the case, then it jeopardizes what you can get from Connor Williams a little bit. I think Connor Williams would be really good, but part of why I've been thinking he's really good is because he was going to have really a perennial Pro Bowler in Tyron Smith, and then another one and a much younger one, or frankly, actually not younger. That's not a way to put it. Because Tyron, even though he's been around forever, is really not that old just because he came into the league so young. But in terms of years in the league, physically on the body young, Travis Frederick next to him as well helps that a lot. So, let's take a look here. Guys, Foles never even went to the locker room. It's not that serious, says Manuel. Interesting. Okay. I'm only operating on what I'm hearing in the comments on that. I have not seen any real update on Foles, so if it's not that serious, good for them. They dodged a bullet. Barbara Martin, shout out. What's up? Maybe Hackenberg set up like Dad did in 2016. That was snarky, but I get sick of Philly trolls dissing Dak. Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. DDP, Dez going to Cleveland. He signed the Browns helmet today. Better say goodbye to him now. I don't know what the better say goodbye to him now thing is. Like, he's been gone for 4 months. So, yeah, Dez going to Cleveland looks like a certainty. If that's the case, good for him. Honestly, I say this all the time. I think he's got a lot left in the tank. I'd like to see him go somewhere and be successful. He'll probably take a 1-year deal with Cleveland just because they don't know what's going on with their Josh Gordon situation, which, by the way, have they ever known what was really going on with that situation? And with that being the case, it makes sense from a talent perspective. And, for him, it puts him with Todd Haley, a good mind as far as offense is concerned. So there could be serious help. There could be serious help there for him and his cause as far as reestablishing his value. If he has a good year there, whether with Tyrod Taylor or whether with Baker Mayfield, if he has to go in, he could still have a solid year. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near the playoffs. Browns have won 1 game in 2 years. So I honestly think that maybe super optimistic for the Browns this year. 5 wins. I don't know. I do like the moves they made, but there's still a lot on that team I don't really like that much, and a lot of it starts with the head coach. Let's see. That's because they have an injury tent now. DDP, I said that because some Cowboy fans want him back. Oh, okay. Talking about the say goodbye to him. Yeah, no, Dez has never been a potential return to Dallas. Even when the whole thing about Jalen posting that he had this dream or something about it, I disregarded that then, saying I didn't think it was likely. How come they keep signing wide receivers? Seems like they've got a pretty good group. The additions that they've made, I think that they're trying to churn the roster because they are dealing with some injuries. Noah Brown, he's had a hamstring injury. Now you got Tavon, although it's more precautionary in his case with a hamstring injury. You have Deontay Thompson dealing with, I think, a hamstring as well. A lot of hamstrings going on here. They got to stretch those things out a little better, I guess. But Julian Smith, Austin versus Mr. McMahon storyline for the next fantasy booker. Julian, I'm glad you liked my fantasy booking video I did with the Sports Fury. Appreciate that. That was something new and fun to do. Yeah, I think you just keep churning things, see what you can find. I have no problem with them signing other wide receivers at all. It's one of those things that I look at and think that, I mean, it's just something you got to do. It's not just about camp bodies, although probably in most part that's probably the general sense of it. But it's also trying to just have guys out there that can take the snaps for your preseason games as well. And, you got 4 preseason games. We know the last game, the 4th one, is always the uber scrub game. That's a harsh way of saying guys that are more than likely to not make the roster. And then the 3rd one's the dress rehearsal, really for only about a half. And everything else is just kind of padding. You get glimpses maybe of some of your starters, but you don't really get a good hard look at them until that dress rehearsal. So with that being the case, I think that's all the signing of wide receivers is. That was answering John's question, by the way. Cali Boys fan 85. Do you think Joe Thomas will start over LVE? Joe Thomas had himself a really impressive preseason game the other day, and he's been balling out. I do like a lot what I've seen from him. I remember when they signed him, or did they trade for him? Whenever they acquired him, Law, James, and I were all kind of ho-hum about the addition. We kind of viewed it as like, oh, okay, that's depth. That's special teams, I guess. But he's been balling out, and that's really impressive. Will he start over LVE? If he does, it'll be initially. I don't think LVE is a day one starter necessarily, and that's not at all to say that he's not going to contribute and that he's not going to make plays this year. I mean, you saw that ball. Now, it wasn't an interception because the ball was thrown out of bounds, but just the athleticism he showed on that play, that really impressed me. And I was worried he got hurt on it, but it turns out it was just a knocking the wind out of himself scenario. So if that's the case, then, good. That's good. We need to know that we can count on him. So Joe Thomas, he might, if he keeps playing like that, yeah, he might start over LVE initially, although I do think LVE will take back that job at some point. Let's see, make sure I'm caught up on here. Happy times. How many tackles will Jalen Smith have this year? How many tackles will Jalen Smith have this year? I couldn't tell you a tackle number off the top of my head, but I can tell you this. Jalen Smith is a monster right now in training camp. The way he's manhandling guys in one-on-one drills, they're having him rush the passer a lot more. I think that they his side-to-side is way better than it was last year. He doesn't have near the get-up he had to have last year when he changed directions. That's good. I don't think he's fully back to Notre Dame form yet, but they have at least gotten a better understanding of how to utilize his abilities. And when you get him going straight line to something, it's nasty. And so I think Jalen's going to have a monster year. I remember in the opener last year against the Giants, he had something like 9 tackles, and we were like tripping over ourselves like, oh, he's already here. He's already ready. And ended up not being the case for the season because, as we saw in larger doses, whether it was fatigue, whether it was just him getting exposed, whatever, he struggled mightily. And that has thankfully not been the case near as much this year in training camp. And I am highly encouraged that taking him in the second round is finally going to pay off for Dallas in year 3. Year 2 of him playing 3 in the league, since you get the idea. Let's see here. Jump on the chats real quick again. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm trying not to hit too many of my topics if James and possibly Law are rolling in. So let's see. DDP, did you hear they are shopping Beasley? I heard a whisper of that, but man, that's one of those things where it's kind of like I'll believe it when I see it. I don't doubt that Beasley still has value. I don't doubt that they could trade him if they feel they have the right move. If you talk about outspoken receivers, people wanted to nail Dez to the wall. Beasley's in that category as well. I don't know what you get for Beasley that makes it worth it. Like, are you getting another wide receiver that you can play right now? That doesn't make sense to me. Beasley knows the system, and Dak has spoken highly of him in camp. So that would be a very weird decision, I feel. But I don't know. So if that's the case, that's something to consider. Then, if we're looking at a draft pick, that's worse. We're already kind of thin in terms of the top tier starter quality people on the roster. So why would you then want to take away probably your best or most established guy off the roster. So I don't necessarily get why they would do that, but we'll see. Things could shape up differently. There's 4 QBs and injuries to wide receivers. You need camp bias. Yeah, that's what I was saying to J. Pharma-D. For the injury, they would have taken back for x-rays. I think they're still talking about the Carson, or I keep saying Carson Wentz. Why am I confusing Nick Foles and Carson Wentz? Guys on the bubble. Someone asked, I saw earlier, I lost where it was in the comments, but someone asked me earlier about Rico Gathers. I don't know what to make of the Rico situation. He's making some plays in camp, and God knows he has to, because for whatever reason, they're not throwing the ball to him much. In the first preseason game, I never saw the ball in that direction. I'm not seeing him play a lot, and in drills, it doesn't seem like they're giving him a lot of opportunity. I almost think that they've kind of made up their mind in that regard, and he's having to fight to try and change their mind. And if he can get his blocking down, and he's shown flashes even in that regard, and you saw the sick one-handed catch, I'm sure, that he made in camp the other day. If he can do that, then he can still carve out his spot and, make it on this team. But I'm worried that they might have already made up their mind in that regard, and that would be a damn shame, because I think that dude's got a lot to offer. Let's see. Looking through the Law Nation 2.0 comments here. As of now, which wide receivers would you say make the team? As of right now, well, I still stand by my thinking that Terrence Williams is a shoo-in just because it costs more to cut him than to pay him. So you'll have Terrence Williams, Michael Gallup, who has been the real standout from the receiving core, I think, of camp. Now, you could argue Tavon Austin because he kind of brings a multi-dimension thing that this offense hasn't seen in at least some time. I mean, he's a very interesting Swiss Army knife. But Gallup, man, he can beat anybody deep. He's not especially fast, and he's not a big guy. He's like 6 foot, 200 pounds. But dude knows the nuance of creating space, and he knows how to play physical without getting flags thrown against him. And so he creates that space, and he is beating dudes deep left and right in camp. And if the cornerbacks are one of the positions we feel strongly about, like in a good way for camp, and he's beating them deep, that makes me really excited about Michael Gallup, which I've been excited about him since they picked him. So I got Gallup, I got Williams, I imagine Beasley. Deontay Thompson, I think, brings something as well, but he's been hurt, so that could make him a toss-up. Obviously, Tavon Austin's in there, so I'll make him my 4. Noah Brown's fighting for his job at this point. I think him, man, Lenore has had a damn fine camp, and that preseason game as well. That touchdown catch was very nice. I think Noah Brown and Deontay Thompson are going to have to fight for the 6th spot. If there is a 7th, that's... I don't know on that one. That one's tough. Probably 6 or 7 receivers is what they keep. See here, Josh Schneider, offensive line injury update. Regarding Travis Frederick, it's just stingers. Sounds like there's no structural damage that they know of. They just advised rest, but he went to a spine specialist, and they assured him he just needs rest. Whether it's the punch from Anton Woods in camp a couple days ago or a few days ago that did that, or it's just general wear and tear, I don't know. Doesn't sound like he's going to miss any significant time, practice, but he's one of those guys that I would argue, because of how decorated and how long he's been around and stuff, he's a guy that can afford to miss the time. So I'm not worried about Frederick, thankfully. It sounds like they dodged a bullet there, Josh. Who all is hurt, asks David B. Well, in the same day, within not too long of each other, you had Tavon Austin come up with I think it was a hamstring or a groin. I heard conflicting reports on which exactly that was. And then you had LVE with, maybe that was why I thought it was conflicting. One was each. Groin or hamstring for Tavon Austin and LVE. So in both cases, it sounds like they were taken out of the practice more so for precautionary reasons, just to prevent any further issues or irritation or anything like that. Barbara Seriously, I don't even go to the Joe Boo YouTube channel anymore because of an Eagle fan troll infestation there. As for Gallup, agree 100%. The kid plays smart. What about the Carrington kid? Is he just a camp body? His film is interesting. Yeah, I can't speak to the Eagle troll thing, but Carrington, he's shown a little something. He could be one of those wild cards, one of those dark horses to contend. I don't know that he's going to get that opportunity necessarily, but I would be curious to see more of what he has. As long as Sean Lee is healthy, LOL, says Josh. Yeah, absolutely. Sean Lee's health is paramount. Yo, we got big game. Let's see here. While big game gets set up, I'll have his James, I got your mic muted just for the moment until you're set up, and then once I can hear you, they just can't. So whenever you got your setup ready, let me know, and I'll activate it here for you. So let's see here. Jump back into the comments. Stevie Mac. Yo, and we got Law. You guys just let me know when you're ready. Man, this party's about to be hopping. All right. Yeah, I hear you, man. Yep, we hear you. I guess I should let Law answer that question since I'm talking to nobody as far as the viewers are aware right now. Let me...
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, fam.
Okay, I'm in here. Finally. Sorry. Just got in from work.
All right, let's see. I don't even know what's happening with that graphic. Well, that's not what I want.
What up, y'all?
What's up, fam?
How you doing? I'm good. How you doing? Good to hear y'all.
Get this set up here. One sec, guys, while I get the stream updated, but I got you both. They can hear you as well at this point, so it should be good in that regard. All right, so we got Law and Big Game James here. I'll get the on-screen graphics ready. Guys, how you doing? Now it's a valid question if you can hear me, apparently.
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. All right, well, I was just talking about some of the injuries along the offense right now. Well, I guess LVE is obviously not offense, but the update on Travis Frederick, it's just stingers. He just needs rest. Nothing too concerning there. I'm not worried about him. And then with regard to LVE and Tavon Austin, some combination of hamstring and groin. Sounds like both of them were treated a little more precautionary as far as them coming out. You guys got any thoughts on that?
Well, hell, man. I mean, Travis, man, he gonna be all right, man. I think that it was just a little stinger. This guy gonna be out there. He gonna be live like 95. I'm not even worried about this offensive line. We're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think the offensive line will still be good for sure. I want to see what they can do with regard to. Part of why you feel good about Connor Williams coming in starting day one is because you're sandwiching him between Smith and Frederick. So obviously if Frederick were to be missing any time, that would then put a little bit of a strain on him. Now, again, Martin's good and he has experience at center in college and high school, but it's still a little different. It's a step down as far as Frederick in that regard, you know? You guys hear me all right? All right. Feel like I'm not.
Yeah, man.
You kind of going in and out.
I am? Well, that's no
Yeah,
good.
well, at least when I hear you.
All right. Interesting. Let's see what I can set up on this end here. Guys in
But
the
I heard
comments,
majority of what you...
guys in the comments, let us know if you can hear everyone all right. I'm going to keep tinkering with this stream here.
Right.
Well, if you ask me,
Yes.
if you ask me about them, there was a real article, heard of this guy named Katie Drummond. He writes for Cowboys Wire. He had a good video about the situation with Travis Frederick, and I was kind of thinking about that as well. That, you know, that we're going to have Travis Frederick out probably for a few weeks. They're not going to probably play him in no more preseason games. He's probably going to be shut down the rest of the preseason. And what he was saying was, which I was thinking about that as well, is like, I don't know if Travis is going to be practicing as much with this stinger. We'll see. Starts taking those snaps, and then Connor Williams is sandwiched between it'll actually him because he's not practicing every day with that top dog Travis Frederick as the center, and he's not teaching him every day about long calls, positions. When you're sandwiching between two all pros, it makes it a little bit easier as far as your transition, as far as going against the top dog, as far as defensive interior lineman. So that might be something that we may want to look at. Also, Connor Williams is a rookie. I am not really too concerned about our line at all, but I do have some little bit of concerns with Connor Williams. That's just in my opinion, because, like I said, I'm a Texas fan. I've seen him at Texas, and I think the biggest thing that only thing I worry about with Connor Williams, has been great after practice with the guys, but he's not big to me. I mean, when I seen him, he ain't the biggest dude out there. He's got good size, but he's probably like a good 305, maybe 3. As I said, remember when we had Ron Larry, Ron Larry was about good 330 at that girth. And whenever we did pulls, traps, and things of that nature, you couldn't move him out the way. I think you're going to have issues with Connor Williams with that. When we play a good, strong one tech, like I said, I keep bringing up the Giants. When I play Carolina, they got some big interior alignment. He is still a rookie, and I think we may have a little bit of problems just with the size if they do penetration, because he's athletic. He's more athletic than Ron Larry to me, but he just doesn't have that girth, and I think that might be some issues when you're talking about pushing the pocket, people blitzing us up the middle, because they are going to challenge him. He's a rookie. So if you don't think they're going to challenge people, sending people blitzing up the middle, coming after him, we're definitely going to see that. So he's going to have to step up to the plate in that manner, because they are going to attack him up the middle as far as blitzes, because he is a rookie and they want to make sure he's making them calls. We've seen him in training camp. I've seen DeMarcus Lawrence using him in training camp. I've seen him do a couple slip moves and had Connor Williams on the floor. So you got to understand that if that's DeMarcus Lawrence doing that to him, and that's a one-on-one situation, not saying that we should be concerned or alarmed, but that's just something that we need to keep in mind when we're talking about running up the middle and things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Law, what do you have, like, an observation for whether it's the injuries or whatever? I know the receivers are also dealing with a lot of injuries like that, whether it's Hearns or Thompson. Brown's had some issues as well.
Yeah, by me being so far away from the camp, the thing that I can only take away from this whole deal would be what they look like during the game. Now, my guy, Big Game James, he's 1,000% right. At this point, Connor, he's the man, but maybe year 2, maybe year 3, when he get that size together. He's finessed as all get out right now. And the blitzing fars up the middle, I just hope that, the rapport and the continuity that will develop maybe week 3, maybe week 4 with that. Because one thing that Tony Romo used to say, that as long as I can see the player coming, then I know I have a chance. But the biggest problem that we have with the Dak Prescott of the world, and I love Dak. Remember, this year the gloves comes off. But the biggest problem that we might have is him going through his progressions. And trust me, the interior of that offensive line, we have to keep the pocket clean. I don't know that if Dak Prescott is at that level to say, okay, I can pick a team apart knowing that I got a guy crashing down on me. I don't know if he's there yet. So that's my biggest reservation. But then again, I'm not out there in training camp. I'm not out there in practice. So I can only wait to see what happened during the game.
All right, cool.
Yes, sir. Hey, and just a little side note.
Yeah.
You mentioned a little bit about DDP, about Brown and Thompson with them injuries.
Yep.
They're going to be out, I believe, a week. So I believe next week they're going to still have some injuries as well. So they're becoming farther and farther behind the 8 ball, because I don't care how much they like you. If you're not on that practice field, other people are getting work.
Hey,
and that McKay kid.
Hey, James, when is cut day?
I gotta find that out. I don't know exactly
every week
when.
they got to get that roster.
Yeah, they gotta start doing that. So I think they're gonna probably start them cut downs probably after this because they only got a few more games after that, right?
Right.
So they'll start getting honestly, they'll start getting rid of those players that ain't never gonna make the team. But that McKay kid from Cincinnati, the 6'4" kid, wearing Mike Austin's number, he's out there doing work. And I'm not going to say that he's going to make the team, but now you see a KD Cannon who has all that speed that we've been talking about, that we've been needing.
Yep.
He might all of a sudden may rise up now because Noah Brown was the darling last year, but Noah Brown hasn't been on the field at all this year. So whatever you did last year, you can't rest on this year, especially when you were a 7th round pick. Last year, we didn't have everything set as far as the receiving core, so it was good for him to slide in. Now we don't have anything set, so now his position wasn't set like it was last year. He's got to get on the field because you got these other guys, and McKay isn't a small dude. He's 6'4", and you saw what he can do as far as the high point in the ball. You see he can get up there. So it's going to make it interesting. KD Cannon's starting to sneak up in the lineup. It's going to make it interesting now when we're talking about cuts law and DDP. Because if you're injured and you can't get on the field, Dallas Cowboys just can't keep you because of what you did last year.
Exactly.
Right.
I think Noah Brown is absolutely in significant trouble of being cut. And I'm curious as well, who do you think is, if you had to pick a wild card as far as the receivers, whether it's KD Cannon or someone like that, who would you say has put himself in the best position as far as a wild card to make this roster?
It's still too soon. We got to wait to this game, and we got the dress rehearsal.
You can say up to this point though, if you really wanted.
Right there would mean everything. And then on top of that, these are the two things that we need to take a look at out of all these wide receivers. I don't care who they bring in, Tupac and Biggie. They can bring in anybody they want to. But this is the thing. They need to do these two things. They need to know how to block. This is what the team is all around, is running the ball.
Yep.
And they need to contribute on special team.
Right.
If they can't get those two things down, then they won't make this team. That's the bottom
line. They won't
line.
see the field.
So that's the only thing that keeps Noah Brown available as a wild card. His ability to know this offense because he played on his team last year, and his special team play. Those are the only two pockets that allow Noah Brown to stay on his team, regardless of whether or not he's healthy or not. So,
agreed.
If these guys don't show up in these two games without Noah Brown, then Noah Brown might just find himself right down and getting down on his team. Believe it or not.
I agree. Because you saw him when go ahead, DDP. My fault.
I mean, as a transition topic, if you had a follow up on that, by all means, follow up.
Oh, I was just going to say, we saw him last year, Noah Brown, in those two tight end sets a lot. I told everybody that when he got drafted out of Ohio State that you should move him to a tight end, a hybrid tight end. You look at Ingram I keep on going to Ingram from New York Giants. When he came in, he was 235 pounds. And when you look at Ingram from the Giants, he ain't big. He ain't big at all. When you see Ingram, you don't look at him as blocking anything. Is that correct? He ain't blocking nobody. But guess what? He's a top option and a dog. And when you talk about tight ends, he's being brought up in conversations as one of the top tight ends. So when you look at Noah Brown, if you don't see him making it as a receiver, he's almost 230 pounds. And when he came in as a rookie last year, he was big. He wasn't a little guy. And the first day he was drafted, because I seen him a lot when he was at Ohio State, I said, you should move him to tight end because he had size. And I think personally you could still do that. I don't know if he can do it as far as, receiver to tight end. But I know one thing, when I see him in them games last year, he was on a lot of them two tight end sets, and he was putting on a hellacious block on linebackers, defensive ends, and I think he could do it. So if you don't keep him as a wide receiver, you can transition him as that, because we still need speed at tight end. I don't care what anybody tells me. I got into it with a few people on my page about Blake Jarwin. I like Blake Jarwin a lot. I told y'all that. But he still ain't fast. They were saying, oh, he runs a 4.7. No, I ran track. He ran 4.69. That means he runs 4.7, 4.8s. Okay. Right. He ran high 4.7s, high 4.8s. That means he's a 4.7 more 4.8 guy. Jeff Swain, I mean, he doesn't offer anything but blocking. Dalton Schultz, he's a rookie. You might as well just put him. He's not ready. I've been seeing him in camp. Brada said he ain't ready. He still got a long way to go. We don't know what the hell's going on with Rico. That's the great unknown. But we still need speed at that tight end position, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like the coaching staff might have already kind of made up their mind on Rico. Like he's fighting. Not. He's fighting. I mean, you saw the one-handed catch the other day. You saw even him blocking well on certain plays as far as practice, and those have been two of the big things for him. You know, he's got that raw athleticism, and he's got that big basketball frame that goes up and gets the ball. That's you gotta do that if you're him, and he made that happen on that play. That element's been there. It's just a matter of doing it consistently with regard to practice. For him, it's really been the blocking and how crisp he can run his routes. And we've seen him working on those and improving. But being year 3, it seems like they're catering to giving him fewer opportunities now. Catering less to giving him opportunities is kind of how it seems. And I'm worried they might have already made up their mind on him. And, you know, it'd be one thing if this is his last camp anyway, as far as the Cowboys, but to make up your mind this early, I think would be a mistake.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Cowboys did this to themselves with Rico. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I feel like they did this to themselves with Rico, and maybe Rico did a little bit as well. I'm not gonna lie. I went on Rico's. I follow him on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
One of his Instagram pages got hacked. So I went and looked at, you know, I'm really not a nosy person, but I was very nosy.
Hacked. Gotcha.
So, you know, I'm not a nosy person, but I was very nosy on this. And when I looked at a lot of his photos, I'm not judging, okay? I'm not. But when I went on a lot of his photos, I didn't see no football. I see nothing but his producers are rappers, you know, a lot of rapper stuff, a lot of, you know, just a lot of entertainment stuff. I didn't see football. Now y'all gonna say, oh, so what, he can have a life. I get it, but that is to me telling. I feel like maybe he likes that more than football, and this is my personal opinion about it. Just like with Cole Beasley, you know what? Cole Beasley quit on the team, right? And Cole Beasley wasn't making a lot of money, so that rap money can fund you, and it's good to have a side hustle. And I don't know if Rico, you know, he could be using that money to keep his money, you know, his side hustle going. And if it doesn't work, he's got that going for him. I told everybody before, Rico Gathers is not going to go somewhere and catch 50 balls somewhere else every year. He's not.
Right.
But he could go somewhere else and like a San Diego or somebody with a veteran quarterback and get touchdowns, because he might not do it with us because Dak is not a Phillip Rivers or a Drew Brees or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Imagine him in New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, you get him with a great quarterback, he's going to ball out because they're going to know what to do with him. Dak's not going to probably look for him like that, and that's why he's not going to be as successful maybe with us as he may be with another team, because they may utilize his skill set that we may not.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the other side of the coin too as well. With that, you know, if we look at it like this, even if he do go to another team, who would they put on the bench so they can put him out there?
I feel you.
I mean, it's been going on 3 years now. So I don't think that we can just say, okay, he's going to go to another team and ball out of control. He's going to have to take somebody else's spot off that team. And I don't think teams got, you know, longitude and latitude just to say, I'm going to get a guy that's going to be able to just be utilized in the red zone or what have you. So, I mean, if Rico's not committed, like you're saying, and not saying, we just saying, it's not saying that this is factual.
Right. We just
donation.
We got always right. We just saying.
We just saying from our eyes. We just saying that maybe his commitment to the game is not where we want it to be. Mm-hmm. And hell, you should have some type of football stuff up there.
I mean,
but it is what it is, man. Give me somebody out there that really wanted the ball. That's all I'm saying. But I like Rico.
See the problem is Law and DDP, and you know we all can probably agree on that. It sucks because he's really just a red zone threat more than anything else. You get inside that damn 25-yard line, he's going to be lethal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the problem is when we have that 46-man game day roster, you're going to keep him on there just for that. That's the problem, because he's not going to start. and he's not gonna, he's not getting significant time now. So when are you really gonna use him? And that's the problem, because you need, when they have that 46-man roster on that game day, you damn near need all them damn people.
Yeah.
Or I tell you this though, and don't sleep on this H-back theory that I got. That Jamez Olawale, I'm telling you guys, man. You put Jamez Olawale, you can go with 3 running back setup. Jamez Olawale.
He was a converted tight end.
And then throw in number 45 out there, or number 36. Whoever make that team. I mean, they will have defenses scratching their head saying, okay, who's going to do the ball? Who's going to have the ball? Because we still have the option of RPO. Yeah. RPO, run pass option for Dak Prescott, is the exact same thing that Tony Romo had for Dez Bryant, which was the fade. Just because it was the fade with Tony Romo to Dez, it just may be just as good of a play option for us as the RPO in the red zone with Dak Prescott, with Ezekiel Elliott, with number 45, and with possibly somebody like a Jamez Olawale who can block and catch the ball out of the backfield too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know if there is
shout out to Hawk Rage Cowboys, and
yes,
shout out to Italian Cowboys too as well. I see y'all, man.
What's up, Italian Cowboy?
Yes, sir. Also, let me hit up a couple of the people here on this as well. We got a Honcho Sack. What is this? Honcho Sack Town Boys for Life. D Cowboys. Savage Time David B. What's up, guys? Do you guys know if we have one wave of cuts this year, like one big cut, or are there multiple rounds? Someone in the comments asked that earlier. I meant to come back to it.
I think, you know what? Because last year, to be honest with you, I think it might be one big cut, because I believe they were talking about they were tired of doing that. Every week they were doing the cuts.
Yep.
Because I remember last year was one big cut, because it wasn't, periodically. It was just they came down to that roster and then they just cut everybody. So it might, I believe, don't quote me. No, you can quote me. I'll go down with this. If I'm wrong, you can say, Big Game James, you're wrong as shit. All right, I was wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the one cut down, because I saw that last year, and I think that's the mode they were going to. They were not going to go, each week. They were just doing one big cut. So I'm gonna go with that one.
Right.
For 200, please.
Yeah, that I thought I remembered that too, but I wanted to let you say it instead. Yes. So, let's see here. There was another question. I wanted to see if I could find it. Someone was asking as well regarding the. Let me see.
I talked about them damn linebackers.
The chat just rebooted on my stream. That's funny.
That's all good. That's all good.
It's there.
While it's rebooting there, I really like that Joe Thomas. He growing on me.
Oh, wait. That's why I jumped on them linebackers.
Oh, man. And then his last name, Thomas, man. Shout out to the Thomas, too.
Yeah, shout out to the Thomas crew. Shout out to the Thomas crew. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that made me happy in that San Francisco game, seeing the alertness. Because, Law, me and you talked about Joe Thomas personally, and we just thought, is he going to be just like the other Green Bay guys that we bring in and just keep there and they don't ever do nothing with? But I think he's came in here and he's already said that, I'm coming here to make a name for myself. I'm coming here to, do something. And now when you've seen him in that San Francisco game, not only do you feel better that, if Sean Lee gets hurt, now we got somebody, but now LVE's not ready. We can all understand that LVE is not ready. So now if you have a starting lineup of Jalen Smith, Sean Lee, Damian Wilson, you feel better now. You have a Joe Thomas in the fold, and I like the March Lillard kid as well.
No. Say that again, March Killer. Man, you gave that man a nickname already. That's what I like right there, man.
March Killer.
Yeah.
March Killer. Yeah, you feel me?
Go ahead.
He, he was looking good. He almost had a would-be sack in that game against San Francisco on a blitz. He pummeled that quarterback. He got it off just in time. I don't know what quarterback it was. Right. So now you can see, but I'm not going to lie. LVE has showed some things, but to me, he has disappointed me a little bit. He has disappointed me a little bit.
Just in the sense that he's not a day one looking starter?
But yeah, because he's not because it just seems like I said, when I was at a camp, you can see the athletic traits, no doubt. You can see the athletic ability. You see the size. It's just like it just seems like he's just slow right now, and maybe it's just because he's just still getting acclimated. And then the injuries. He's already had 2 injuries. That's kind of concerning to me. I know they're not major injuries,
right?
But they're knick-knack injuries.
Yeah,
and you had injuries while you were in college.
Yeah, he had one healthy year.
You only had 1 healthy year. You were injury prone in college. Now you're having little small injuries now, and groins and hamstrings, they don't go away. We all know about that, right?
Right.
So I do feel better that we got a Joe Thomas now, and I'm glad he's finally gonna play too a lot. It looks like he's gonna play a lot this year for us, and it makes it better for a smooth transition to LV to kind of catch up in that linebacking core. But that Jalen Smith, and shout out to Big Game James. I'm sorry, I'm gonna give myself a shout out. I was geeked up Jalen Smith, shared my stuff. I was so geeked up. I was asleep. Producer G, he kept calling me like he was in Cali, and it was like, he's 3 hours early. He kept blowing my phone up. He's like, "Hey man, Jalen Smith shared your stuff. Jalen Smith shared your stuff." And I said, "Huh?" I was like, "Man, he ain't sharing my stuff." He said, "Yes, he did." And I went on that page. I was like, "Whoa."
That's what's up.
I was geeked, like Jalen Smith, because Jalen Smith gonna be a monster for us this year. You know that, right?
Oh yeah,
he gonna be nasty for us. No, I don't think y'all need to jump on that train, because I know we've been geeked up about Dorrance Armstrong. Oh my God, Randy Gregory. Oh my God, we've been geeked up about them. But let's get geeked up about that Jalen Smith, because he's been making play after play after play. And if you look at it from last year to this year, watch his training camp last year, how he was compensating so bad for that left foot. This year, he's not. You watch him when he does things. He's not even thinking about that foot.
There you go. And you got when you're playing that mic in that middle of the field, you got to be able to turn those hips so quick.
Oh my gosh!
Get upfield, and I'm seeing him shedding blocks. He's bigger, stronger. I mean, he got body weight down, man. This guy is going to be just medieval.
He's going to be nasty. What we were envisioning when we drafted him, if he would have never had that injury.
It's going to be nasty, man. I'm telling you guys, man.
Our D is going to be nasty, treacherous.
Did you guys hear about Randy Gregory today? That he had, I think he attributed himself with 4 sacks today.
4 sacks? Yeah. He said he had 4 sacks, and I believe it. Because, first of all,
go ahead and talk about that, Ben.
I got chills in my body already when I get to talking about Randy Gregory. But that's my dog. He's been my dog from day one. And first of all, when he got that strip sack, that was Tyron Smith. Okay? That strip sack, that was on Tyron Smith. And that sack made him, I thought that was Chaz Green. I'm be honest with you. He got around him so quick. I said that was Chaz Green. I kept replaying the video, and I kept closing up because I wanted to look at them numbers and make sure it wasn't 79. And when I saw 77, I replayed it. It said 77. I said, "Oh hell no, he's doing that to Tyron."
Yep.
And I know you've seen that video with Vach with that damn Dorrance Armstrong Jr. what he did to Tyron, don't you?
Oh, well,
I know Tyron killed him a couple times, but the fact that we have these 2 guys at the right defensive end, not the left, because remember how we've been crowded the last couple of years at left defensive end? Now we have 2 right defensive end. So now I don't feel bad for putting Tyrone Crawford starting at the right defensive end. You know why? Because so many teams pass so much. So Tyrone Crawford is going to go out on that passing down, and Dorrance Armstrong Jr. or Randy Gregory are going to come in.
I like that.
Deep as some dogs.
I like that a lot.
You feel me? And then you still got Taco and DeMarcus Lawrence on the left side.
Oh, yeah.
Malik Collins is just coming back. Dayton Jones is okay. He's an okay player. Barbecue, Antoine Woods, Jahad Ward. Don't forget about Brian Price. And
Malik
then
Collins is in there like,
that's what I'm saying. Malik Collins just came back, and
yeah.
damn it, if David Irving gets his mind right after week 5, damn it, y'all suckers in trouble.
Belly.
So
Hey,
you heard that Randy Gregory was reaching out to David Irving, right, regarding just the whole rehab process and everything like that, trying to get your mind right.
Oh yes, sir.
I heard about that, man. Educate me, enlighten me on that.
I definitely heard that.
All that I've heard on it is that it was apparently well received, to whatever that means. Like, just I guess David Irving took the advice to heart, as far as we know, and hopefully he can apply that to some degree. Because as far as I know, he's still in rehab, right? Like he's I know he's not at camp. Yeah, I know he's not at camp. But yeah, he's still in that situation, and yeah, he's got till week 5. But I mean, we need to get him there in whatever capacity that we can, or at least get him working out, in that regard. Make sure he's ready when the time comes. But yeah, if they get him back, this defense is going to be just slick nasty, and it's going to be ridiculous.
Super nasty, and we all know it.
Hey, my guy Brian Bradford said, tacos, anybody? What about Taco?
Taco's going to do his thing. I mean, Taco's going to have a good year, but as I said before, this is what I want y'all to look at. All right? DeMarcus Lawrence is getting $17 million this year, right, on his 1-year deal, right?
Right.
And I said this before. Taco Charlton is a left end. They're going to put him at right end probably maybe sometimes to get him some work, but he's a left end. Don't let anybody tell you he's a left end. Okay. So, if DeMarcus Lawrence, which I think he is going to have another sensational year, DeMarcus Lawrence is very good. I don't care what anybody says. His hand placement, his hand fighting is damn near second to none right now. So I think he's going to get them 12 to 14 sacks again. He might outprice himself next year because he's going to be commanding $20 million a year next year. So what I said was that Taco, you don't think these players talk to each other? You don't think they talk to each other about contracts and things of that nature? And you've seen DeMarcus Lawrence and Taco Charlton been hanging out with each other every day. They've been working out all the time. So you don't think they're talking about contracts, and you don't think DeMarcus Lawrence like, look, I'm trying to get mine. You got to get yours. So if I leave Dallas, you're going to be second up. And guess who's going to slide in that starting left end position if DeMarcus Lawrence outprices himself? Taco Charlton is. So
I mean, that's the design of the whole situation. You build up the young guys, and once you can keep 1 or 2 high price guys along the line typically, but Dallas, the way they spin on the offensive line, it might only be really one main guy on that defensive line that they can pay, and then everyone else you just have to keep the system churning and keep the young guys running through. So it's not a bad idea, and they've got good depth there, even though I don't know that you look at anyone right now and say that they are right now what DeMarcus Lawrence is, but we'll see. Maybe this time next year we feel differently.
But also, you got to look at we draft next year too. You can never have too many defensive ends. So if DeMarcus has another hellacious year, you don't think they're going to draft somebody in the draft as far as a defensive end? Slide in Taco Charlton at that starting left end, put a rookie or a young person who's good behind him. They did it with Dorrance Armstrong Jr. and say, DeMarcus Lawrence, we love you, but guess what? Bye.
Yep, I agree. Let's see here. Answering a quick question for Dirty Old Man 66 Gaming. Just got here.
I like you, Dirty Old Man.
Yeah,
Dirty Old Man. Shout out to you.
I like the name too. I just got a sub. What? My alert box changed, and I have some little zombie chibi thing running across my screen. That's weird.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what that was, but thanks to the new sub. Yeah, what I like about Dirty Old Man Gaming 65 or 66 Gaming, it sounds like it's a dirty old man who has a Let's Play channel, and that just sounds amazing. But at the same time, he's saying just got here, who got hurt in camp. The 3 dudes in the thumbnail are dealing with some kind of injuries. Thankfully, all of them sound to be very minor. Just need rest. In the case of Tavon and LVE, all they need, it was just precautionary, groin or hamstring, but you got to monitor it. And then with Frederick, sounds like he could miss potentially a few weeks for rest just because he's got a persistent stinger issue.
Frederick ain't gonna play the rest of this preseason.
Yeah, no, and he shouldn't. He doesn't need to. But
you ain't gotta prove it to nobody.
Yeah, he's got a persistent stinger issue that just needs rest. So thankfully right now it doesn't sound like anything major, but the reason that I chose like the title for this, The Injury Bug Strikes, is because any of these being significant injuries would be devastating to the team in various capacities. Maybe not LVE devastating, but it would certainly hurt in his case. I would say Tavon or Frederick, especially Frederick, would be devastating to the team. And so in that regard, it's just kind of like, hey, they're thankfully minor, but this is a close call nevertheless. It is a little bit of a scare, especially with Frederick when we were hearing going to a spine specialist and issues with his neck or something. Thankfully, it's just the shoulder and a stinger.
Yeah, definitely. And the good thing about it is this is, we can keep on knocking on wood that this have been a very, very healthy year for us so far in training camp.
Yes,
so
sir.
Let's continue to knock on wood on that, because it always seems like right toward the end of camp, we always have that one injury that's like, damn it, seriously. So
hey, in 14,
everything's
we got
been
that
good.
out of the way in mini camp first day with Sean Lee's knee, Zach Martin.
I know, right? So that, and then the next year was Orlando Scandrick.
Yep.
Boom. Yeah, I'm not even gonna mention you, Orlando Scandrick. Let me take you back. I'm not gonna give you no props. I just you annoy me. I'm so glad them Redskins cut you. No, I'm not so glad they cut you.
I wanted to see.
I'm not glad they cut you. I'm mad because I wanted Michael Gallup to abuse you and use you and just dog you. And I heard he got some people. Kansas City called him. Orlando Scandrick's about to retire. Your career is over, bruh.
It might well be, yeah.
Your career is over.
He's been stealing money for a long time.
You stole 3 contracts from the Cowboys. Your career is over.
Thief.
Hey, what do you guys think on so I read this the other day, and James, it might have been something you shared, that in the Jason Garrett era, a premium draft pick, like in the first 3 or 4 rounds, they've never cut one of his premium draft picks. And obviously this year you got to think that Chaz Green is like pretty much out, right? There's no way that guy deserves to be on this roster at this point. Has never recovered from Atlanta. Do you think that it's the right move to move on? And then I'm just curious if that actually was something you shared that I saw, and now I'm quoting as if I'm taking credit when I'm really not trying to.
I won't take the credit for that because I don't think I did that, so I won't take the credit for that. But
back in my court.
Yeah, that's all on you. I will not take any credit for that. But as far as the Chaz Green experiment, yes, it should be done. And I've backed Chaz Green a lot. Even at the beginning of the season, I said, you know what? He's not that bad because only reason why I say that he's not that bad, and I probably shouldn't, because I remember 2016 when Tyron Smith got hurt, and he filled in for him at left tackle and he played good.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, good. We have somebody okay. If he can just stay healthy, we'll be all right. Obviously, we've seen the debacle against Atlanta and then other games as well. And then just seeing him at practice this year, I saw some videos where DeMarcus Lawrence was making, like, honestly, this is not funny when I say this. I'm not big. DeMarcus Lawrence can throw me probably like 20 yards. But I guarantee you I could have put my hands on him better than Chaz Green could have.
Yeah.
No, you understand? I know you're going to rush outside DeMarcus Lawrence. I can't stop you, but I know you're going to go there, so I'll at least put my hands there. How are you? And then in that San Francisco game, how do you let a rookie grab you like that, throw you on the ground, and you're damn near tackling him? It has to be over. And if you're still going to keep him for depth, then Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy who, like you said, he's never recovered since that Atlanta game. He actually looked pretty good when they had to play him in 2016, but he never
He's being
recovered.
carted off every damn day on the cart.
Injuries was a thing for him anyway, coming out of, what was it, Florida?
Is he dating Jerry Jones's daughter or something? I mean, he got some inside stuff, man.
As much as we as Cowboys Nation's dog Rico for blocking, I would rather have Rico out there.
Hell yeah.
Green. Put Rico
I'm telling
out
you,
there.
no, you put me out there.
Austin out there.
You put me out there. I know I'm small, coach, but I can get it done. I got heart.
I know a folding chair, Natchez, Mississippi, they can block better than Chaz.
Very nice, very nice. Let's see. What was another thing here? What's another?
Do y'all like Dorrance Armstrong Jr.? Was that a damn steal or what?
Yeah, Dorrance Armstrong, man, getting him in the fourth was very nice. He's a bit raw, but man, he's showing out. For sure.
I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know how raw we can say he is, because if you've been watching him doing his moves, when you see him get off the line, that doesn't show me raw. And I'm not going against what you're saying, DDP. Promise me, I'm not. But rookies don't have moves like that. When I see rookies come in, they usually have one, maybe two moves at most. This dude knows what he's doing. He's going against Tyron, one of the best, and working him. And if it's not Tyron, he's working other people. That when we talk about that damn bend with Randy Gregory, I posted a video. This dude was damn near like he was surfboarding on that grass when he did that damn bend. We are, folks.
Dorrance was a steal in the fourth round.
I can't wait to see our defense. Damn our offense. I'm not an offensive guy. I never was. I'm all about defense. That's what I'm about, and that's what keeps us in game. We can have the Zeke factor. We don't have to have great receivers. You feel me? When you got a very good defense and it becomes great, you don't have to have a great offense.
This is the thing too as well. Dorrance Armstrong. Connor, what is it? Connor Williams, right?
He's the only one that had a sack on
in 3 years.
Yep.
So it's something about Dorrance, man, that he's gonna. I don't know what jersey. Anybody in the chat box, put down what you expect his jersey number to be, because he said he's not gonna roll with 74, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
He can't roll with 74. That's Bob Lilly.
Hell, if dress rehearsal, if he gets 6 sacks, man, let him roll with 74.
I don't know, because I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. Maybe I'm old school, but when I saw Cheeto with 33, I felt some kind of way the whole year. When he went to Morris Claiborne's number 24, I felt so much better. I felt like, yes, you don't, because that's Tony Dorsett, man. I mean, you feel me? Like, Cheeto, I like you, but that's Tony Dorsett's number, dog. Yeah. You can't have it. I mean, I never watched Bob Lilly, but that's Bob Lilly. And I get in a training camp, they got to find another number for him.
But he's representing 74 pretty well right now, though.
He is repping it. I will not say that. You are right about that, Mr. Law.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I just can't wait to see this game coming around, and I can't wait to dress rehearsal. Who we got for dress rehearsal, by the way?
Who do we have for game 3 of preseason? I can look that up. I know we got Cincinnati next.
Cincinnati is next. Then you got dress rehearsal.
Law knows my prep is only on the next week, and he's making me go 2 weeks ahead. We got a Texan. No, we got a Cardinals. Cardinals. Dress rehearsal. Okay. Then we got Texans for the last one.
Hey, that's a perfect dress rehearsal. If we're going to have any good dress rehearsal, the Cardinals are a perfect team because they suck. They have a lot of Cowboys players. You know that, right?
Yeah.
They got Bryce Butler. They have, what was the Ben Wiki?
Oh, okay.
They have him, the cornerback. And I believe they have a lineman too. You know who I saw the other night? I saw Joey Ivy.
Orlando. They need to go get Orlando Scandrick then.
Remember we had Joey Ivy? He got a fumble touchdown. He scored a touchdown the other day.
Nice.
I don't know who.
No way. Yeah. I thought I saw Lucky Whitehead on TV earlier today.
Isn't he still with the Jets?
Yeah, he's doing kickoff return.
Hey, James, the U in the chat is asking why Dorrance fell so far in the draft, like fell to 4th.
Kansas, that's why.
I think because
Kansas doesn't help.
I think because it's Kansas and because he only had a half a sack the whole year.
Yep, he had injuries in his junior. No, was he a 4-year guy? It's Kansas, so you would think, right?
He was a 3-year guy.
3-year, okay.
Sophomore year, he had 10.5 sacks.
Yeah, he was a beast his second last year, and then
everybody was talking about him.
Yep.
But they changed the scheme because they got a different coach, so they changed the scheme. So he wasn't rushing as much like he was before. So that took a lot of his rush ability. So he was more setting the edge, making more tackles, kind of like the Charles Tapper syndrome. Remember when he was setting the edge a lot more and he wasn't really rushing the quarterback?
Right.
And he was at Oklahoma. I think that's why, because he dropped from 10.5 to a half a sack. So you know how evaluators look. They look at sacks. So they look at your production. So if they see you went from 10 sacks to 0 sacks, they think you fell off and they think you're not the same player. So they think don't draft him as high because he's not the same player. You got to look at schemes. You got to look at coaching. You got to look at assistant coaches. You got to see who put them in those positions, because if they're not putting them in the correct positions, that can hurt the player, but that doesn't mean the player is bad.
Right. And then think about this too as well. Like teams do look and scouts do look at what school you come from. I know a lot of people are not going to say it.
Yeah.
They do. But, just for Kansas' sake, Talib Akib, whatever you say his name, he came from there, as well as Chris Harris. Remember, Chris Harris didn't even get drafted.
He didn't get drafted.
So, I mean.
And it was because of Kansas, probably.
Because of Kansas, So it is what it is. But we're going to see what number 74, whatever they're going to put that number on him with.
Right.
He's going to be the real deal. I think he might get 4 to 5 sacks this year.
That'd be a really nice showing out of his rookie year, especially for a 4th-round guy. That would be great.
And I think he might get him because he's going to be that guy that you'll bring on that 3rd down rush.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be thinking about him, and it's going to be a Dorrance Armstrong Jr. rookie with the big sack, because you're not thinking about him. And I'm telling you, he's going to show some stuff in them games that those veterans aren't ready for. I love some Dorrance Armstrong Jr. I am on the train.
Nice. What do you guys think of Covington so far? I've had a couple people ask about him.
Yeah, have we? Just remember, we could have had Shaquem. We could have had Griffin from Seattle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about that. He had 8 tackles in his debut.
Yeah, and it was like rapid succession too. It was like 4
He
plays,
had 4
4
straight.
tackles.
Yeah, he had 4 straight tackles, and we didn't draft him because I know they were looking at that damn hand. Don't tell me they weren't. They were looking at that damn hand, and we picked Chris Covington. If you look at Chris Covington's career in Indiana, he didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And now he's just going to be a special teams guy, or he might get cut. Like he might get cut.
Man, too much pride. They ain't gonna fall on the sword for that.
You're right. They won't do it because of sword, but what is he really going to offer us? You feel me? Like they were talking. I said that he was going to be a special teams guy. They were saying he was showing up a little bit. I said, okay, maybe so. But then guess what? He's a special teams guy. Like I said when he drafted him, I was right.
Right. And if look at how can he beat out Damian Wilson?
He ain't beat nobody on that damn roster. You feel me? We could have had Shaquille. We could have had Griffin, dog.
No doubt. Damn, Griffin would look good on his team.
Oh my God, would he look good with us?
Wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They're looking at that damn hand. I seen him at the combine. The dude has size. He pushed up freaking 20 freaking reps with one hand. They had the special contraption for him to do the bench press. 20 reps of 225 with one freaking hand. Man, get out of here.
Yep. Did you guys see that Nick Foles had a significant shoulder injury today?
Uh-oh.
Undergoing more tests. Let's see. A Schefter report just came out on it. Eagles quarterback Nick Foles will undergo tests on his shoulder Friday, saying he feels pretty good. So it sounds like in his case, I mean, that's significant for them.
He can rest, though.
Yeah, but that's significant for them because there have already been some reports saying that Wentz might not be ready week 1. So if it's not, unless this is just a scare, like if it is somewhat significant, that could make. I mean, what are they running out there? Hackenberg for the first couple of weeks?
Yeah,
if
they
that's
picked
the
up
case?
Christian.
Lord.
Talk about a way to pick up a couple quick wins in the division, not like in the division, but you know what I mean. Like get out to a head start.
Please let him start the first. Please let him start the first 2 games. They 0-2.
Yep, I agree. If Hackenberg's your guy, you are in significant trouble.
You ain't winning no damn games.
Yep.
And I can already hear the Eagles now. Cry, Eagles, cry. I can hear them, though. I can hear them already, talking about, well, we going to make it to the Super Bowl. It's different. It's different when you got the target on your back. It's different when you're on top of the mountain. Now everybody coming after you.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's
And that's
different.
what
It's a different type of flavor.
well, it's the different type of flavor because everybody knows you're the Super Bowl champ. So you're gonna get for your 16 game season, you're getting every team's best game.
Mm-hmm.
When you were the year before, when you weren't the Super Bowl champions, they were looking at you like you're the Eagles.
Yeah.
So you still didn't get the respect, no matter what you say. But now you're the Super Bowl champs, so you're gonna get that respect. But now it's gonna be the respect of we want to beat you, so we maybe think you might not be as good as you won that Super Bowl, so we want to beat you to shut you up. And you best believe all that noise talking they was doing last year, it's going to be the same thing the teams are going to do to them. So when they lose a game, them teams that they were talking all that trash to going to be all up in their face talking that trash like y'all ain't shh.
No doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There was one more topic I had in mind for the show. We're starting to get up against it a little bit on time. Let's see. What's another observation while I try and think of it here? What's another like observation or expectation you guys have looking forward, whether it's this next game or just another standout guy you think in camp? So far, I've been really, really pleased with Michael Gallup and how he's beasting in camp. It seems like he can get deep on literally anybody he faces, and we feel good about our cornerbacks. Like that's one of the things we've been talking up and hyping up a little bit coming into this season. And it seems like even though he's not blazing fast, he can get deep on anybody, it seems like.
Yeah, let me ask you this, big game, James. I don't know if you touched on this. You was out there. What is the move for the Cowboys on Cole Beasley?
What is the mood?
No, what is the move on him?
What is the move?
Yeah,
I
the move. What are they doing? Or do they have their reservations on him, or he's okay?
I don't think they have their reservations on him. He had a little injury bug. He's been dealing with a little bit of a leg injury. But I think what they're going to do with him is they're going to just use him just like they've been saying, how they've been putting him out as an X receiver. They've been putting him on the outside. They have been moving him around. I'll be honest with you. When Beasley's out there, can't nobody really guard him out there. That's just the truth. He's just too good for them. I mean, he's good with his stutter step move. Even when they maybe know where he's going, he's just so damn quick they can't guard him. I feel like he's going to have a really good year with Dallas. I told you, I wanted to trade him with Dallas to trade him last year, and the reason why I said trade him because he had good commodity because he adds a lot to your team. But with that being said, with us, I think the mood is they're going to do a lot of things with him. He ain't going to be a number one receiver. That's a damn lie. Anybody was talking about that stuff. I heard it in the media. He's not going to be no number one receiver. But I do think he might get that 50, 60 catch season this year because Dak is going to utilize him a lot. I definitely believe, especially when you got Hearns and Gallup and those other guys. I think Cole Beasley eats a lot, especially in that underneath. And I think he gets a lot of catches on, hitting him in the seam and things of that nature. So I think the vibe is really good with Cole. Everybody loves some Cole Beasley up there. So I think they're going to continue to use him in different aspects and kind of go with matchups. And I think one of the biggest things also is Sanjay Lal. I was out there and I seen him. Those guys really love him as a coach. They really listen to him, and I think it's probably night and day between him and Derek Dooley. I don't think them guys respected Derek Dooley, and they just, it's a way when you don't respect a coach, you're really not going to listen to what he says. You're just going to kind of practice and do your own thing.
Yes, undermining him certainly didn't help by that either. It kind of emasculates your coach and makes the other guys not respect him as much.
But you know what? The other guys might have been feeling the same way. They just wouldn't say it like Dez would. True. You know what I mean?
True.
Right. So you got a guy who's Sanjay Lal who got you carrying bricks every day and reteaching you whole kind of things that you never seen before. I posted something with Tavon Austin saying that Tavon Austin said he had his best training camp ever in his history of being in the NFL. And he said he gives all the credit to Sanjay Lal. And I think a lot of the guys, you're going to see it. I think the reason why people are dogging our receivers because we don't have a big name, but Sanjay is going to come in there and really show a lot of people why he's a good coach and why he's going to be a hot commodity. And we're probably going to have to pay him some money because we're going to lose him to some other teams because other teams are going to see how improved he got our receiving core, and they're going to want him.
I do like him as a coach, and I like what he's bringing to the table. I don't know that we're going to be up against that immediately because he has had stops with the Colts, I think, and the Jets that were, let's say, not super memorable. So
yeah, but you got to look at
the star puts an extra focus for sure, though.
It's the Colts and the Jets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Jets ain't been nothing in a long time, and Colts been struggling for a while.
The Rex Ryan had them in 2 AFC championship games, but outside of that, they haven't won anything in a long time, and even that's probably what
Colts receivers weren't bad though.
Ago?
But when you look at the Colts receivers, Colts didn't have bad receivers, and when they did get receivers that came on their team that weren't top dogs, he did make them better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because T.Y., he had problems, man, coming out of college of getting off the jam, getting off the league.
Yes, yeah. He made those receivers when they came. He's made receivers better, and I think he's made our receivers better because of the reteaching. We didn't have a lot of teaching going on. You heard Beasley and them saying that we're being taught. We didn't go being taught. We went on our natural ability, and when you can get the respect, number one, and then you're teaching, guys listen to you, and they take the extra step. When you got a guy like they said wasn't respecting Dooley, they're like, whatever, and it becomes sloppy, and your technique becomes sloppy. Then when you become playing games, that stuff shows up, and that's how you lose games.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know how long his contract's for, by the way? Does anyone know
Beasley
that?
or Sanjay?
Sanjay.
I actually don't know how long his contract is. I would suspect if he came over, it's got to be at least 3 years.
Let's see. Yeah. See if I can find something on that.
I mean, just the approach. If you look at our guys, this was my first time ever at camp, and it was great. I will go to every camp from here on out. I'm trying to go next. I'm trying to be in Dallas, so I might see you guys because they got free camp next week. Starts Tuesday.
Nice.
So you guys need to go check it out if you guys are available. They got free camp from Tuesday until next Tuesday.
Okay.
I posted the times on the page, so you can go check it out. I'm trying to get down there next week because they have it at Friday. I'll try to go there for the weekend, but they're open to the public, free of charge, first come, first serve. It'll be some good. Be able just to really look at the guys. But one thing I noticed at camp, from me seeing it, from what I've heard before, it was a lot more crowded, but they got the up-and-coming teams, but there wasn't a lot of big names, and it was a lot of competitiveness, and I think that was really good for the team because I think maybe the team gets lax with the star power, and maybe they don't work as hard because of the star power. When you got a lot of young guys who don't have spots and everybody's trying to get a spot, It makes them hungry and competitive in camp. And I think that's what really was going on in camp this year. That's what I saw when I was watching camp, a lot of competitiveness and just hungry. And I really think that I love our team because it's so young. And I just really think you're going to see that youthfulness in our team this year. And that's what's going to make our team exciting, is that youthfulness. And I think we're going to see it later in the year around game 6, 7, 8. We're really getting excited. We've seen Xavier Woods. Remember what we saw in training camp? Woods, look, it's showing up. Jalen Smith, LVE, Sean Lee. If we just stay healthy, I'm getting excited more. Now is the time to me, more than anything else, fellas, is Jason Garrett can shut up all the critics. This is the year. I mean, this is his year, guys. I mean, is it not, guys? This is his year to shut everybody up because I feel like we have it to go. It just needs to be the coaching, make the critical calls, timeouts, moves, things of that nature.
Adjustments.
Calls, exactly. Seeing things, it's got to be that because we have the team that can do it. I believe that can take. I believe that can take us
with Bill. Was that man who went all
Bill Cowher?
Years?
Bill Cowher.
It took him forever and a day to win it.
Yeah.
I mean, Philly won it last year, man. How many teams have we seen have a bad year, turn around next year, and damn near in the playoffs championship? You know what I'm saying? We've seen it. We've seen it with damn near Carolina. They were sucking the year before, and then they were about to fire Ron Rivera, and then he goes to the damn Super Bowl.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It happens like
Right.
that, and it can happen to us. But it's got to be Jason Garrett. I believe he has the right staff underneath him. He has to do it, and this is the year he can do it. I mean, really, we have the team that can win a Super Bowl, or at least go. We do.
Real quick, who's your guys' surprise cut in camp, offense or defense?
Rico will still be my surprise cut on offense.
Okay. Law? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't know you had
No,
one for both.
No, do your offense for Law.
Oh man, that's a bummer for me. Surprise. Damn. I don't know really, man. I would piggyback off of you, man, but let me just jump over to defense. Tapper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that may be a surprise to some people. Tapper for defense. Who you got for defense?
I'm gonna go with Coney Ealy.
Okay, and now it's my turn to go back for offense. All right, dang, Chaz Green. Come on, cut him.
I don't know if that one's a surprise. That's a celebration.
That's a celebratory.
That's a celebration right there.
Let me see who gonna go on his offense. Help me out, chat box, man. The flame.
Go with Noah Brown.
Noah Brown for 100. Okay, that would be a surprisingly a cut there. Yeah, Noah Brown.
Because a lot of people like Noah Brown.
I roll with that.
I knew I should have gone first between the two of you. You took all my answers.
You know it.
I was like,
Because,
I'll even have one or
roster's
two
almost
backup
set.
prepared, and then both of you took them out. Like, damn. Yeah, I think Coney
It's
Ealy.
okay to piggyback.
I think Coney Ealy is definitely the guy that I'm most worried about. Them talking about moving him to defensive tackle, just because he's getting outplayed by some of these younger guys on the edge. And I think that makes him.
We don't need him now.
Yeah, you don't need him as much. And he had 1 sack last year. Yes, he had 9 pass deflections, and that intrigued the hell out of me. But if he's not winning in camp, and if you feel like he got better younger talent, he's only a 1-year deal anyway, so he was only ever gonna be a rental. So
You aren't costing him anything.
Exactly. So it's not a bad idea if you do go that direction. And so he would be one for the defense. Offense, I could tell you either Rico or Noah Brown. Noah Brown, he's just an unfortunate case of being a 7th-round pick and then having year 2 the long hamstring injury through camp. That's just an injury casualty. It sucks for him. I like what he can bring to the table potentially. His best bet might be if they moved him to tight end, frankly, but I don't know that that's going to happen at this point. So he might be a casualty in that regard. And then if I'm not looking at him, maybe it's Rico. Maybe they have made up their mind for whatever reason, because just kind of like they did with Gavin Escobar, they drafted a guy knowing he's a pass catcher. That is his primary threat he brings to the table. But then they get mad when he's not a blocker. It's like, well, you knew when you got him what he was. So why are you then going to get mad if he isn't great at that? Like, he can make improvement, sure, but at least take advantage of the one thing he does damn well. You know what I mean? Like, it's so frustrating when you see these guys, when you see him making those one-handed catches in practice, and you're like, oh man, this dude can do something. Like, even if you just got him out there as a mismatch, you're telling me that you like. So with Dez, right? With Dez, the critique was that he only had a certain route tree, that he only had a handful of routes that he would run. He wasn't a crisp route runner. If the route called for him to go 12 yards, he'd cut it off at 8 or 10 or whatever, and you just kind of threw it to the general area, and he could still produce. Why can't that be the case with Rico? Even if he's not a pristine route runner, why can't that be an exception where you're like, hey, your size and athleticism, I'll trust you to win a jump ball? Like, why isn't that something that's at least being explored more within the offense, or at the damn least within preseason?
I mean, yeah, I feel you. If I had, I would cut. What does Jeff Swain offer?
Shout out.
I mean, we're keeping him like he was a 1st-round pick. He was drafted in the 7th round, and he came from Texas. So either he was 7th round or undrafted. Yeah. So it's just like, if we were to keep 3 tight ends, I would go with. Well, see, here's the problem. You have to keep Swain because Schultz ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. They probably shouldn't have drafted Schultz right now. Not saying Schultz is bad, but they probably shouldn't have drafted him and drafted somebody else, because now you look at it like, okay, you're going to keep Schultz because you drafted him and you look at potential, so you're going to keep him, but he's going to probably hold up a roster spot that probably shouldn't.
Yep.
Right. And they had what? Rico ahead of Schultz.
Yeah, and that's what it should be.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, if you're in a situation, though, where you're looking at keeping one guy versus the other, to me, you got to keep Schultz, because I think Schultz, he's a better blocker, for one. I think he can grow into a more complete tight end than Rico could. And look at the investment. Not only is Schultz a draft pick from this year, but he was, what, a fifth rounder? Fourth or fifth?
Fourth rounder, because Mike White was a fifth rounder.
So fourth rounder versus Rico 3 years ago as a sixth rounder. Yes. Yeah, so, I mean, if you look at it from that investment sense, if you're talking about one or the other, it's got to be Dalton Schultz that you hang on to. And Rico, I mean, they, especially with what they've shown on Rico's situation, I don't think that they're going to do it.
If he goes somewhere with a good quarterback, he's going to do good, and everybody's going to be pissed off.
And the problem is with that too as well, the intangibles, the things that you just can't measure.
Yep.
We can go back on film and tape on NFL games and say, hey, damn it, Rico showed that he could show up on game day,
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's a practice situation with him.
I mean, that's what it is with Dak. Dak's not that great. Yeah, Dak's not that great in practice, but in games, he tends to ball out more often than not, excluding chunks of the second half of last season, but still.
So if you put like a blind look at everything, and you'll say to yourself, okay, Rico or Schultz, I'm going to lean towards the 6'7" guy that looks more athletic, who showed me something. Now, I'm waiting to see what Schultz can do. Yes, he got a high ceiling, but, I mean, we talking about actual play now,
Sure.
Schultz can't pull that out. He can't show us 2 touchdowns in one preseason game.
But he's only had one preseason game to date. Rico's had 3 years to show us something.
Right, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. So Schultz to supposedly show up and show out against this game right now, right?
Yeah. If I gotta pick one, I'm picking Schultz, even though I just was up on a high horse saying they should give Rico more opportunity. I think they should give Rico more opportunity, but I like the idea of finding a way to keep both. If we're picking one versus the other, I think you got to go Schultz as the ultimate down the road. Not project. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. Your guy down the road.
Do you think Schultz would be a better player down the line?
Do what?
Do you think Schultz would be a better player down the line if Rico stayed in the league?
A more complete player. Yes, I think so.
You think Schultz can beat out Swain and Bowen?
This year,
eventually?
probably not. But long term, yeah, I think so.
No doubt.
So we'll see. You guys got anything else before we hit this wrap up here?
No, that's it.
No, that's all. That's everything.
James, you sounded kind of disappointed there. Like, no, that's it. I know you're sad the show's over, but we do it every damn week. We'll be back.
No, it's not that. It's okay.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's start with James. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James. Wow. Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James. Find me on Facebook. That's where we really bang at. Law Nation and them guys got YouTube locked down, but Facebook, we kind of got that on lock. It's like, no, I'm fine. Now check us out every Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Super interactive, number one interactive show out there. Well, you know how we do. We out there kicking it, talking Cowboys football. Might be a hot guest on there. Might be a former player on there. You never know. You got to tune in because we always bring in surprises. So check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Like I said, Big Game James, I don't really got no page on YouTube or nothing like that. So you can just check me out on Facebook if you like. Goes hard. Anything goes. We talking anything, Cowboys and whatever. Y'all can say whatever. Just don't be disrespectful or I will block you.
That's what's up.
No doubt. Mount up. Hey, you left out one major ingredient.
What did I do?
Patreon. Man.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Yeah, make sure you check out that Silver and Blue Patreon account. Silver and Blue Nation Patreon. Go onto the page. You'll actually see it posted on the page. Sorry. And you only start $1 for a donation. And like I said, all proceeds is going to making the nation better. Law, Silver and Blue, DDP making the nation better, getting us out to those games, equipment, just giving us the best kind of quality to give y'all. And just remember, you don't have to start out with $1. You can bang out 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You can do however you want, for real.
That's sold. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Indeed.
Law, you're up, buddy.
Hey, you guys know, check me out at LAW Nation. There's a podcast. Check it out. You should see that either my face or my logo on that location, as well as Facebook as Laws Nation with an S on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I try to reach out and touch you guys just like AT&T. I try to, respond to your messages there, as well as Law Nation on YouTube. I also have a secondary channel for right now until I get out of jail. Law Nation 2.0. I'm still there. I'm still live in the mix, man. Shout out to all of the subscribers, man. I'm right now at over 1,000. I really appreciate that. It was 200 subscribers just yesterday. So I love that. I like everybody tuning into the nation, support the nation. Don't forget about the Patreon. You can find 4 quarters somewhere in Grandma and them couch, Lil Pookie and Ray Ray and Stomach Chain. Ask them for 4 quarters and have them to donate and help contribute. Don't just join and get there. Don't just meet me there, beat me there. Don't just hesitate, contribute, and hey, we're going to get this thing going one way or another. You guys know this is your brother from another mother, no other. Don't look like Danny Glover, but I keep it cool for you guys. And remember, you're listening to Nothing But the Bash.
He's in the full wrap-up mode, man.
Remember.
All I know is he's been pushing his secondary page for a week, and he's already freaking caught me on YouTube subs. Law Nation's got a loyal fan base. That's what's up. But yeah, as well, you can check out the Dallas Prospect here on YouTube. Also on Twitter at Dallas Prospect. Check out the website, thedallasprospect.com. Like Law, like Silver and Blue, Big Game James, we have a Patreon page. You can donate. I think the 3 tiers I got set up right now are $1, $5, and $10. $10, you get a free shirt sent out to you as well. But yeah, anything helps. Everything gets invested back into the site, whether it's software, editing tools, going to some of these games, events like James mentioned as well. Also check out the Sports Fury. I did a couple collaborations with them a couple weeks back, and those both released within the last couple days. One, in fact, a 2018 win-loss prediction video for our Dallas Cowboys. So check that out for sure. That's on the Dallas Prospect page, YouTube page, and on their Sports Fury YouTube page as well. And then for those, if you're a wrestling fan at all, I did a fantasy booking for that as well. Took a crack at that. That seems like that's been pretty well received so far. So check it out. Check them out. And yeah, we're going to grow this thing. We're going to keep growing this network and probably work with them some more in the future. But that's all our time for this show, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. And remember, every legend was once a prospect. Salute.
Yes, salute.